The year 2025 is going to be the best year ever. And in this video, we're going to make sure of it because we're going to go over 5 ways of thinking to level up your new year, your next year, which is 2025. So let's get it. What is going on? It's December. We're in December. And so obviously the new year is in a few weeks from now. And so I just wanted to drop a video and break down 5 different ways of thinking that's going to level you up. So we already know, I'm all about the mental, about the perspective, about giving you a different way to look at something to be able to change your life. And so today I have 5 things and 5 ways of thinking that's going to level you up for the next year, for the new year. And so we're just going to get into it, and we're going to go with the first one. The first one is going to be stop making mountains out of molehills, or stop turning molehills into mountains. This is something that I've done. I had a habit of doing this previously, and my girl, she always told me about it. She was like, yo, stop doing that, because you're making something that's very small into something very big. So think about any time in your life that something simple needed to be done, but you put it off, you procrastinated it. You was like, hold on, or I'm gonna do that next week, or let me wait until tonight and I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna do it, when it was really something real simple. Very simple, right? Stop making things that are simple complex. And that goes back to overthinking. If you are always in a state of overthinking, you're gonna block your blessings next year. Do you wanna block your blessings? Or do you wanna actually experience the blessings that already have your name on it? If you wanna experience the blessings that are already yours, you gotta start walking into it, right? Stop overthinking your way out of stuff. Why don't you think your way into it? Stop worrying, get excited, right? Stop fearing, stop doubting yourself, believe. That's what makes things bigger than what they have to be. So stop turning very small things into very big things, because nothing ever gets accomplished that way. So you have to, in your mind, tell yourself like, yo, I'm going to make this very simple. Whatever it is. It ain't gotta be this big drawn out thing. It ain't gotta be this big drawn out process. Handle it, get it done, and keep it pushing. That's the easiest way to make it happen. All right. The next thing, this one is a game changer for me, right? This year in 2025, I want you to educate your pessimism. Whoo. What do you mean, Isiah? Check it out. Educate your pessimism. Everybody has a pessimistic side to them. Everybody has an optimistic side to them. Now, some people choose to be more optimistic than pessimistic, and some people choose to be more pessimistic than optimistic. It's a part of the game. It's a part of life, right? But your pessimism needs to be educated. And here's why I say this, and here's what I mean when I say this. Let's say you have something new that you want to do, a new direction you want to go down in your life. Now, the pessimistic side of you is going to be a lot more logical, a lot more rational, and a lot more limited in the thinking. But if that pessimistic side of you does not have the education in this direction, it's going to stop you from going in that direction, and that direction could be where all of your blessings were at. Think about it. Think about it. Let's say let's just say you want to start a business, and somebody close to you is like, man, be careful with that. You're probably going to lose all your money. But they've never done it. That means that they did not educate their pessimism. And because they didn't educate their pessimism, they are going to block their own blessings. They're doing it right now in their life, and they're going to block your blessings if you allow them to. You have to educate the pessimistic side of yourself, because you got to be able to ask yourself, is this something that I don't need to be doing? Or is this just something that is fearful because I don't know about it? And then once I learn about it, then what happens? You can use that and leverage that, right? It's the same thing in the stock market. Everybody is afraid to put money in the stock market. When I was younger, I was afraid too. It was intimidating to me. But the more that I educated that side of myself, I started to see and understand that this is nothing to be afraid of. And furthermore, there are families that pass down this type of information to their kids and to their cousins, and the whole family is just well off because they have gotten this information passed down to them, right? Because the way that I think is, if there's people in a space, why not me? Why not me? The only reason why not me is because I'm not fully educated on how to thrive in that environment. You got to learn how to thrive in an environment, right? You have to. So you got to learn the rules of the land, whatever that land is, right? You got to learn the rules of the land. And then when you learn the rules of the land, you're no longer afraid. You're no longer scared because you know the rules and you know how to play the game. And that's why you have to educate your pessimism. I can't stress that one enough. Educate your pessimism. Go read the books. Go consume the content. Go learn about the industry. Go learn about the thing that you are almost not going in the direction of, because something inside of you is telling you to go do that. But because you have a pessimistic side or a skeptical side, you don't think that is real. You don't think X. But it's like when you understand that you just need to get educated about this thing, and you also maybe need to just get exposed to people that are doing this thing, you'll be able to see, oh wow, it's not what I thought it was. This is a lot simpler than what I thought it was. I was making a mountain out of a molehill. Personally, I should have been investing into the stock market years ago, right? But I allowed my uneducated self to stop me from going in that direction. But I got more educated and I was exposed to people that were doing it, and I could not turn a blind eye to it, right? So make sure in this year in 2025, you educate your pessimism, right? The next one I got for you, this is a good one, right? Take your own advice instead of trying to give it away. Woo-hoo! Right? Take your own advice instead of trying to give it away. I remember when I was younger, I would always try to help people. Hey man, like, you know, this is an option. Oh man, do it like this. Oh, just giving it away. But because I believed in it so much, but I wasn't at the highest level taking my own advice. Real talk. I was not taking my own advice. I was doing it passively because muscle memory, I would do things, but I wasn't owning it. I wasn't owning it. But I got to a point in life where I started to own it, right? I started to take my own advice and my life turned up. So you have to stop trying to, help everybody else. Stop trying to save everybody. Stop trying to give everybody all the advice. And you just got to do you. You just got to take your own advice. If you know a job ain't it, then stop being there, right? Instead of trying to preach to people at your job, why don't you get out of your job? Because the best way to preach is to do. Understand what I'm saying? The best way to preach is to be an example of the thing you are trying to preach. I've lived both sides of the coin. Results speak, and that's just a fact. The best way to preach or show somebody or to influence somebody is to be the example, because results are the only thing that you can't go back and forth with. You can't negotiate results. You cannot negotiate results. But what you can do is take your own advice, change your life, and then you have your own firsthand example. You don't want to be the person, oh, I know this dude, and he did this. I know this chick, this woman, and she did this and she said no. You want to be the person that did it. So stop being scared, stop being afraid, stop being skeptical, and jump off the porch. Go change your life. Go change your life. Go ghost for 6 months and pop out of nowhere with a whole new different life, with a whole new different skill set, with a whole new different way of thinking. And I guarantee you the change and the evolution that you had, people are going to be able to see that. And then they're going to take heed to what you're saying because they already took heed to what you did, right? Don't be the person that just talks. Be the person that does. And then people come to you asking, what did you do? How did you do it? That's what real influence is. To be an example of the thing that you preach on to the point where you no longer have to preach because your life is an example of that. Write that down. Write that down. Right? Stop trying to give everybody advice. Take your own advice instead and change your life. All right? The next one I got for you. You have to seek freedom over security. Seek freedom over security. Right? You will never have freedom seeking security, but you will always have security when you seek freedom. Simple as that. Right? We get in these jobs, these organizations, and we think they got our back. We think they family. We think all these things, but you got your back more. And also, everybody on this planet wants to be free. They want to feel free, right? Because what happens when you feel free? You feel secure within yourself. Can't nobody tell you nothing. But when you aren't free, the only thing you could latch on to is what? Security. Because you operate out of this perpetual, consistent state of fear and worry and lack and all these other low vibrational things. But what happens when you stop all of that? What happens when you like, you know what? I got this. What happens when you like, you know what? I know that freedom is going to be in the direction of the unknown, but I'm going to go into the direction of the unknown instead of worrying about being safe and secure. Because I know if I seek safety, I'm never going to be free. I'm never going to be fulfilled. I'm never going to be happy. But if I seek freedom, I'm always going to be happy. I'm always going to feel fulfilled. I'm always going to be living a much more fulfilled life. Ask yourself that. Which one do you want? Freedom or security? And most people will say they want freedom, but their actions are not in alignment with what they say they want. Because if you want freedom, that means you're willing to walk away from everything that you got right now if you're living a very secure life. And one thing I learned about life is whenever you take a step backwards, you get ready to get propelled 20 steps forward. It's just how it is. It's a natural law. It's called the law of the rubber band. Go look it up. The law of the rubber band. Whenever you're getting stretched and you're getting pulled back and you feel like you ain't able to go nowhere, it's because you're getting set up to, woo, right? Release that and then you're going to spring forward. But if you don't allow yourself to get stretched, if you don't allow yourself to take a couple steps back, you're never going to go further. And you always going to be in the same exact place, right? So you got to learn how to seek freedom over security. There's nothing better than feeling free. Freedom financially, freedom from your employers, right? Freedom from people being able to disrespect you. Freedom from people being able to tell you what you need to do. Freedom from emotional freedom. Everything. Just pure liberation. You were put on this earth to be free. But because, you know, we're inside of this society, things have made you think different. But you are a free being. When you were born with no clothes. You were born in the water, right? You weren't born with a job, right? All these things were taught to you. So you got to get back to who you were as a child, a newborn, You got to get back to that energy. Because when you do that, that's when you really get to live life. A lot of people ain't living because they're so focused on security. Right? So this year in 2025, go seek freedom over security. It's going to be hard. You're going to have a lot of difficult conversations with yourself. Yup, it is what it is. But change your life by seeking freedom over security. In the beginning, it's going to be scary. It's going to be nerve-wracking. But that's okay, because you got to feel the fear and do it anyway. You got to feel the fear and do it anyway. All right? So make sure you go seek that freedom. And the last one, I want you to raise your frequency and choose happiness. This is probably one of the most challenging things for people, right? I want you to think about something. I want you to think about any time in life you have not been able to, you've had something happen and your whole day was fucked up. Whole day gone, right? 5 hours later, you're still mad about what happened that morning. Have you ever asked yourself, how would this day look if I decided to be happy? Just think about it. I know things, affect us. I know things make us mad. But you cannot allow something to last a whole day, because you don't get that day back. But that also goes to raising your frequency, right? If you're vibrating on a certain frequency, anger can't live there too long. If you're vibrating on a certain frequency, sadness can't live there too long. If you're vibrating on a certain frequency, so many of these emotions that we try to validate can't live there that long. You have to choose happiness. You got to wake up and say, I'm deciding to be happy. I'm deciding to be fulfilled. I'm deciding to be excited. I'm deciding to vibe on a higher frequency than what I previously was, because the only way to get the things that you want is to feel better about your life. It's to feel better about yourself. It's to feel better about the person that you see when you look in the mirror. It's to feel better about your circumstances. Even if your circumstances aren't what you want them to be, you have to see the positivity in it and then see where you're going, and you got to get excited about that. It's just what it is. So this year in 2025, I want you to raise your frequency, and I want you to choose happiness. I want you to choose happiness. I want you to raise your frequency. I want you to ask yourself, is this feeling that I'm feeling a high vibrational frequency or feeling, or a low vibrational frequency? And if it's a low vibrational, you need to do the exact opposite, and that will raise your frequency. But you have to make the choice to do that. You have to make the choice to talk to yourself in this way. You got to make the choice. There's no other way around it. You have to make the choice, right? So stop making mountains out of molehills. Educate your pessimism, right? Take your own advice instead of trying to give it away. Seek freedom over security, and raise your frequency and choose happiness, right? I hope that was good. I hope you guys are ready for 2025. I hope you feeling good about how this year went. If not, be sure to change your life, do what you have to do, make the necessary adjustments, and let's go make it happen. So always remember, get out of your head, get into this world, and I'm gonna see you on the next video. Peace.